Peaceful rising, grand rising, however you like to address the morning. It's Friday, it's a beautiful day. Thank you so much for showing up today on your mat, despite everything that's going on in the world, all of the news and social media overload. It's always a really good idea to just take that moment, whether it's 30 minutes, an hour, taking some time just to step away and to really get into yourself. Such a valuable moment. Before we get into anything, if you could just let me know if you can hear me well, or also if the composition is okay, making
You're
sure that.
good.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Beautiful. Beautiful. I also wanted to just mention um, I had begun actually being able to see you guys, but we switched up the studio a little bit, so I can't really see you. Um, at any time during a practice, if you have a question about any of the asanas or anything, just go ahead and stop me because I won't be able to see. So
Sounds good.
yes, okay, thank you so much. All
Mm-hmm.
right, so what we're going to do is, as always, kind of just get started with our breathing. So this is more of, I want to say like a grounding kind of thing to just become more aware of ourselves. So whatever sitting position you're in, whether you're in your lotus pose, maybe you're like me, sitting on your shins. I put a little block underneath me today. Let's just go ahead and close our eyes and just allow our bodies to relax. So, starting from the crown of the head, working our way all the way down to the tips of our toes. Also, at this time, just taking a quick scan of our body just to see if there's anything that's a little tense. So, once you've reached the tips of your toes, go ahead and reverse that scan and go all the way back up to the crown of the head. And we'll do that one more time. Go ahead from the crown all the way to the tips of our toes and then reverse it. We'll meet back at the crown. So once you reach back to the crown, we're going to take a deep inhale through the nose and really feeling that inhale as it fills up your lungs and comes all the way down to your lower belly. And then we're going to exhale through the mouth. Really deep, full exhale. So do that a few more times at your own pace. On your next inhale, this time we're going to breathe out of our nose. And with this exhale out of the nose, try to focus on a longer exhale. It's a very deep cleansing breath. The more you practice that and notice that the exhales are a little bit longer than your inhales, that will you'll benefit a lot from a deep cleaning of the lungs. Basically reaching the toxins that are at the very bottom. So it's always good just to take a moment before practice to realize your breathing, what that feels like, um, because what you can do with that is apply it as you practice. A big part of yoga is making sure that we are breathing. And as we are moving in and out of these postures, we need to be very aware and that we're breathing. A lot of times we might hold the breath to get into a position that's um, restricting or constricting us in so many ways where we can't fully express that pose or movement. So now that we've done with that, let's go ahead and meet on all fours. So basically a tabletop position.
Dotted line, turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a what
And
you
once
think
we're
about
here,
me.
just go
Only
ahead
know
and
that I got
neutralize
my
your
eyes on
back.
me. They
So,
wanna see me fall
becoming
away.
very
They
aware of
wanna
your
see me
body.
fall
That's one
away.
of the
They wanna
focuses
see me
today
fall
that I
away.
really want to
With they pros and rollies.
work on is that
Baby, ride with me, you can
us just being
slide with me
super
if you feel
mindful
like.
of every
550 on
movement
the
that we're
fast stick,
doing
come get high
in
with me. That's a
class.
deal, right?
So
Ride with me, feel
typically
like.
on
Come
Fridays, this
slide
is
with
the
me if you feel
beginner
like. 550
rhythm
on
and
the
flow
fast stick, come
class.
get high with me.
So
That's
it's
a
a little
deal,
bit
right?
slower
That's a
than
deal, right?
the
That's a deal, right?
power
That's
classes
a
that I
bet,
teach
right?
during the
That's a
week. And
bet, right?
this
That's a
class I
bet,
like
right?
because you can
That's a
definitely
bet, right? That's a deal,
take the
right? That's
time
a
to
deal,
become
right?
aware
That's
and
a
really get
deal,
into the
right? That's a
body.
deal, right? That's a
So
deal,
as you're
right?
in this tabletop position, just make sure the
Ayy,
shoulders
you ain't
are
never gonna
aligned
stop.
with the
So we still
wrists.
pushing like
The
a cop.
knees are about
Ayy,
hip
I'ma keep
width
it taking
distance
flight. In
apart.
that yellow bucket with the
So
mustard.
once
I'ma
we're
take
here,
a
we're going to
chick,
do a
ayy,
couple
who
cat
said that
cows.
everything must be
So
so
pushing through the
good. Made the
palms
whole
of
world
our
good.
hands,
Yeah,
arms
money on the
super
low
straight.
scale on my
We're going to
purse bill.
draw the
I know that
belly
super good.
in, the
Messing with
belly
you like
button in, and
Cancun.
send that upper
So
back
I
all
let
the
it
way to the
700 my
ceiling.
1100
So
right back
really
to him.
feeling the
Ayy,
upper
put it
back
down on
pushing
me
toward the
like it's $10.
ceiling.
I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the
And
paint
exhale,
still.
you're going to
Push a
release the
cloud till you can't
belly. Go
feel.
ahead and
Ride
send
with
the
me if you
hips
ride
up
with
to
me.
the
You can
ceiling. The
slide with me if
last
you
to come
feel
up is
like.
the head.
550 on the fast sticky, come get high with me.
And
That's a
here
deal,
you'll
right?
continue to do
Ride
this
with me if you
movement
ride with me. You can slide with me if you feel like.
at your own
550 on the
pace,
fast sticky, come get high
organically,
with me. That's
really
a deal, right?
feeling the
That's a bet,
body,
right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right?
really
That's a
feeling
deal,
how
right?
when you draw
That's a
in the
bet,
belly,
right? That's a bet, right? That's a
how
deal,
that
right?
feels on the organs
That's a bet,
in
right?
that
That's a
area of
deal,
your
right? That's
body.
a deal, right? Got five on me.
And whenever you're ready, we'll come back to a neutral spine. And now we're going to thread the needle. So, keeping that same posture and tabletop, we're going to go ahead and lift the left arm all the way up, reaching the right fingertips toward the ceiling. And then we're going to bring that right arm through underneath the left arm. Inhale, go ahead and lift the right arm all the way back up. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale back up. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale back up. Exhale, thread the needle, but this time just hold it for a moment. Inhale, let's go ahead and bring that right hand back down to the mat. So we're going to do it on the left side. So inhale, lift the left arm, fingertips point toward the ceiling. Exhale, go ahead and thread the needle, bringing the left arm underneath the right. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale and hold. Inhale, bring the left palm back down to the mat. So here we're going to do a puppy dog pose. So sending the hips all the way back to the heels of the feet, keeping the arms super straight, maybe even reaching out a little bit further, drawing the belly in, and maybe pulling your tailbone toward the heels. Just really feeling the stretch along the arms, along the sides of your body. And you can bring the forehead down to the mat if you like.
I know he's bad for me. He just wants me like he's attached to me. So what's standing in our way?
Inhale, go ahead and push yourself all the way to child's pose. So big toes to touch, and then the knees can come as wide as the mat. And then we're going to fold over, bringing the forehead down. Arms can stay straight, or you can bend at the elbows. Bring your hands to prayer, so both palms together, and just have the fingertips pointing back toward the end of the mat.
So I pull myself together to not give myself the pressure. I don't know what to do with it.
On your next inhale, go ahead and release the arms where the palms are flat to the mat again. And then you're going to push yourself up, roll forward, adjust the knees if you need to. We're going to come to a low cobra. So bringing the chest forward, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, having like a little micro bend in the elbows. Tops of the feet are flat to the mat. So here you can also kind of pull yourself a little bit forward, pulling the chest, pulling the belly forward. And then exhale, we're going to come back up and push ourselves back to child's pose. And we'll work with this movement maybe 3 to 5 times. So at your own pace, roll forward.
So I pull myself together to not give myself the pressure. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go, go. I don't know what to do with this. Should I let him go? Oh, go, go.
And when you're done, we'll come back to child's pose. Once you're here, we're going to come all the way up, curl our toes under, and then we're going to push through our palms and through the tops of our toes to lift our knees off the mat. So we'll hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and go ahead and release. And 2 more times. Inhale, lift the knees up, keeping them straight back. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and go ahead and release. And 1 more time. Inhale, lift. Without dropping the knees, let's go ahead and send our hips back toward our heels. And then really with a deep awareness, pushing ourselves up to our first downward dog. So really feeling the back of those legs opening up as you start to stretch out the hamstrings. Adjust your downward dog as you need. So really work on straightening the arms, spreading the fingers out. Sending the hips up and back. And then also feeling your heels kind of pull down towards the mat. If at any time you don't want to take a downward dog, you can always go back to the tabletop position. So while we're here, let's go ahead and walk our dog. So bending the knees. Maybe roll up on top of the tips of your toes and come back down. Do that a few times. And once you're comfortable back in your downward dog, let's go ahead and walk our hands back toward our feet for a forward fold. So once you're here at the back end of your mat, you can either, bend your knees here, Keep the legs straight, up to you. But if the hamstrings are not that warmed up, you may want to bend the knees and then go ahead and draw the chest into the thigh and the crown of the head pointing down toward the mat. Inhale, go ahead and come all the way up slowly, lifting one vertebrae at a time. Once you are standing all the way up, we're going to bring the arms all the way up, pointing the fingertips toward the ceiling. And here, very actively stretching toward the ceiling. Grounding all four corners of your feet into the mat, rotating that pelvic area down and forward. Exhale, let's go ahead and release the arms. Swan dive, forward fold, so chest to thigh. Exhale, go ahead and walk the hands back out. So we're walking back to that downward dog. Inhale, rolling forward. We're gonna roll forward to a high plank. Exhale, bending those elbows, bringing them into our bodies, squeezing the ribs. Coming up to an up dog. So the tops of our feet flat to the mat. Here you can rest the thighs if you need to. Otherwise, you will want to keep the thighs lifted off the mat. Shoulders should be rolled back, chest is open, arms straight. And then we're going to send this back to downward dog. Once you're here, let's go ahead and walk the feet in one line. Try not to wiggle too much. Walk the feet all the way up to the hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Again, very active, all four corners of the feet. Rounding into the mat, reaching up as if we're being pulled in two different directions. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, chest to thigh. Inhale, palms come down to the mat. And then right foot goes back, left foot goes back. We're in high plank here. Rolling forward, we're going to go to our low plank, squeezing the elbows in. Up dog. And push back to downward dog. All right, let's do that one more time. Walking the hands all the way back toward our feet. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way back up. Reaching for the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive, fold, chest to thigh. Inhale, let's go ahead and walk the hands back to our downward dog. And then rolling forward, we're in our high plank here. And then coming to low plank, squeezing the elbows, making sure we're not sending the hips up, but we're turning that pelvic area down and forward, aligning the shoulders with the hips. Inhale to up dog, rolling the shoulders back, and sending this back to downward dog. Go ahead and walk the feet into the hands, or to the hands rather. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Reaching high. Swan dive, exhale, fold, chest to thigh. Inhale, halfway lift, palms come down to the mat. Right foot goes back, left foot, and chaturanga. All right. We're going to do that one more time at your own pace. So starting with walking the hands all the way back to the feet. You'll fold, come all the way up, reaching high. Exhale, swan dive. Again, forward fold. Inhale, walking the hands all the way out. Chaturanga. Back to downward dog. As soon as you're there, walking the feet to the hand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, chest to thigh. Inhale, halfway lift, palms come down to the mat. Right foot goes back, left foot goes back, and chaturanga. So we'll meet in downward dog. All right, once you're in downward dog, let's go ahead and bring the big toes to touch. And we're gonna lift that right leg all the way up. So play around with this too. Maybe you come onto the toes of your left foot to really stretch that right leg up. Go ahead and square the hips down toward the mat. Bend that right knee, roll forward, bringing the right knee to the right elbow. Send it all the way back. Again, bending right knee to left elbow, send it back. Right knee, rolling forward, comes all the way to your nose, and send it back. And then with that right leg lifted, we're gonna roll forward to a three-legged plank, lower to low plank, shoot back up, and send it back to a three-legged dog. We'll do that one more time. Roll forward to a three-legged plank, lower, lift back up to a three-legged dog. Rolling forward, bending that right knee. Let's bring the right foot just outside of the right hand, dropping the left foot flat to the mat. We're gonna come up to warrior one. So here, adjust the feet as you need to. Right knee should be over the right ankle. Left foot should be flat toward the mat. And if you need to adjust, maybe putting more space between the legs, that's fine too, as you try to square the hips toward the front of the mat. So you should really feel all four corners of your feet on each leg really grounded into the mat. So inhale, reach up, creating length in your torso. Inhale, and we're gonna lean back, straight arms. Come back to center. Exhale, we're gonna fold over that right thigh. But this time, let's go ahead and bring our arms behind us, interlacing the fingers, opening up the chest, folding forward, right shoulder to right knee, humble warrior. Inhale, release your arms, send the arms back up. Exhale, bring the palms down to the mat, and then send that right foot back so you're in high plank, and then we're gonna chaturanga. And we'll meet in downward dog. Once you're here, big toes to touch. Left leg goes up. Again, rolling onto those toes, really trying to stretch that left leg high as it'll go. And then squaring the hips down towards the mat. You're gonna bend the left knee and then roll forward, bringing the left knee to the left elbow. Send it back. Bending the knee, left elbow to right elbow. Send it back. And when you're bringing the knees in, make sure that you're compressing. So you're squeezing that. So when you bring that, when we bend this left knee and bring it into our nose, we're really squeezing that in. Exhale, send it back. And here we're gonna roll forward to high plank, keeping that three-legged dog or three-legged plank, bending the elbows, low plank. shoot back up, send it back to a three-legged dog. One more time, roll forward, low plank, shoot that back up, three-legged dog. Once you're here, bend the left knee, rolling forward. We're gonna bring the left foot outside of the left hand, dropping the right foot down to the mat, coming all the way up to warrior one. Again, adjusting the feet if you need to. Go ahead and reach towards the ceiling, creating length. Inhale as you're reaching. Exhale, we're gonna lean back. Inhale back to center. Exhale, fold forward. Releasing the arms. We're gonna interlace the fingers behind us, opening up the chest, and then continue to fold forward, bringing that left shoulder to the left knee. Inhale, release the hands, come all the way back up. Exhale, palms come down to the mat. And the left foot goes all the way back. High plank and chaturanga. All right, we're gonna do that whole flow 1 to 2 more times. So let's go ahead and bring the big toes to touch. We're gonna lift that right leg all the way up. Coming all the way up on our toes, stretching that leg out. Squaring the hips, bending the right knee. We're gonna go ahead and roll forward, bringing the right knee, and pressing to the right elbow, send it back. Again, bending the right knee, rolling forward to the left elbow. Send it back. Rolling forward, right knee comes all the way to the nose and hold. Go ahead and send it back. And then rolling forward, right foot outside the right hand, dropping the left foot. We come up to warrior one. Inhale to reach all the way up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale back to center. Exhale, folding forward. We're gonna interlace the fingers behind us, opening up the chest. Continue to fold forward, right shoulder to right knee. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, palms come down to the mat. Right foot goes back. And chaturanga. Here, if you need to modify, you can also drop the knees to the mat, lower the chest, push up to up dog, and then meet back in downward dog. Bringing the big toes to touch, lifting the left leg, rolling onto the right, to the toes on our right foot. We're gonna stretch that left leg as far as it can go. And then square the hips, bending the left knee. We roll forward, left knee to left elbow. Send it back. Inhale, roll forward, left knee to right elbow. Send it back. Inhale, rolling forward, left knee comes all the way to the nose. Go ahead and send it back. And then rolling forward, left foot comes outside of the left hand, right foot is down, warrior one. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, lean back. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lean forward, interlacing the fingers behind you, opening up the chest, continue leaning, bringing the left shoulder to the left knee. Inhale, come back up.
I wanna be with you
Exhale,
always.
palms come down, sending the left
Cause
foot
that
all the way
is
back,
what my heart
and
says.
chaturanga.
That's what my heart says. I wanna be with you always. Always, yeah. You are my world in every place. Oh,
All right, let's go ahead and bend both knees.
it's the things
Look
that
at your
you do.
thumbs.
It's the things you
Hop walker,
do,
jump to the top of the mat.
it's the smile on your
Inhale,
face.
halfway lift.
Smile on your
So here,
face.
fingertips can point toward the mat or they can come to your shins. Again, drawing the belly in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up, but this time we're gonna come up to chair. So big toes to touch, knees to touch. That's one way of doing it. Or you don't have to do it that way. You can keep the feet parallel to one another. And sometimes that's a little bit easier as well. So here in chair, make sure the arms are straight. You're doing an internal twist at the elbows. The chest should be open. The pelvic area should be pointing down and forward. I know sometimes we push the butt out like this, and I think over time you will grow and learn how to really control that area. But until however you want to do it now is fine, and just sit as low as possible. Exhale, fold. Bring the chest to thigh. Inhale, palms come down to the mat. Right foot goes back, left foot goes back, roll forward, chaturanga. Back to downward dog. As soon as we're here in downward dog, we're gonna bend the knees again, but this time we're gonna jump forward to prayer squat. So once you're here, go ahead and bring your hands into prayer, and then with our elbows, we're gonna push away our knees. And we should be bringing letting the bottom kind of come down toward the mat, and don't send it back. Have it come down toward the mat. So this is a really good hip opener. You can really feel it in your inner hip, your inner thighs. So here we can play around with crow. Sometimes we use the block, sometimes we don't. So I'll show you without using the block first, how you can do that. So you'll come all the way back up, keeping the arms really straight, palms to the mat, fingers spread apart. You're gonna go ahead and bring your heels together. And then lifting up onto your toes, you're gonna kind of squeeze your knees into your armpits. So you might have to bend the arms a little bit here. And then taking your gaze forward and also leaning forward at the same time. Once you got a nice secure hold here with your knees, you're gonna roll all the way onto the tops of your toes, lifting one foot at a time. The goal here is to straighten the arms eventually, bringing the feet all the way to your bottom. And if you want to kick back to low plank, make sure you keep the elbows bent. Now, if you want to use the block, some people do it differently. Some people put it in front of them so they don't, because of the fear of them falling on their heads. Or sometimes if they have trouble even getting up, they may put it at their feet. So I'll just show you how to do it if you're gonna do it under your feet. So again, here, finding a good placement for your knees underneath your arms. Again, rolling forward, lifting one foot at a time. So that's another option. If you have a block at home and you want to practice crow. From crow, you can also go into a supported headstand, which is pretty cool. So maybe next class we can play around with that. So let's go back to the prayer squat. And let's go ahead and bring the right palm down to the mat and extend the left arm all the way up. So here we're going to do a twist. So inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. So we're really opening up our shoulder and our chest here. Exhale. Let's go ahead and change this over. So bring the left palm down to the mat, and then we're going to lift the right arm all the way up. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Exhale. Let's go ahead and bring the right palm back down and lift the left arm up. Exhale. Left palm comes down, and we'll bring our palms back to heart center. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and push ourselves all the way up from this position, opening ourselves up to a star pose. Slide back in here. Exhale, let's come back down to prayer squat. Come all the way back up. Back in, really opening up the body here. Inhale, come all the way back down. And let's do this a few more times at your own pace. Once you're back down to that prayer squat, bring both palms down to the mat and chaturanga. Let's get a little bit of hips in here before we wrap up. Let's go ahead and bring the big toes to touch. Go ahead and lift the right leg up. Rolling forward, bending that right knee. Let's bring the right foot outside of the right hand. Once you're here, we're going to roll onto the outer edges of both of our feet and extend the right arm all the way up. Just as we were in prayer squat, we're going to inhale to lengthen, exhale to open this up. All right, let's go ahead and come out of this. Dropping that left knee down to the mat. And then come all the way up to a low lunge. Dropping that left foot so that the top of our left foot is flat to the mat. Exhale, release the arms, and then we're going to send our hips back. So we're creating like a half split here. So drawing the belly in, keeping the back super straight, flexing that right foot so the toes are pointing up toward the ceiling. You're going to fold forward over this right leg. When you fold forward, the idea is to the feeling should be as if you're pointing your crown towards the foot and past the foot. So we're reaching toward the foot. So you should feel a nice pull in your hamstrings. Inhale, let's go ahead and bring the right foot back down to the mat. Coming back up to a low lunge. And then we're going to go ahead and bring our forearms all the way down to the mat. And if you need a modification for this, you don't have to bring the forearms. Maybe you just keep the palms down to the mat like this. But this is a good hip opener as well. So just really breathe into this, breathe into your right hip. Try to squeeze that right knee into the right side of your body. If it's in your practice, you can also benefit from bending that left knee, so bringing the left foot towards your body. Keeping the left forearm on the mat, you're going to extend the right arm up and over and grab a hold of that left foot. And then open up the body to the right. So whichever position you're in, let's go ahead and come back up to the palms. And then we're going to heel toe that right foot all the way over to the left hand. Dropping that right shin down to the mat. So we're here in pigeon. So you have options here in pigeon. You can stay here or you can fold forward, but we don't have a lot of time and I want to make sure we get on the left side of the body. So we'll just go ahead and kind of roll over onto that right hip. And then we're going to bring the left leg forward. And then we're going to send the right leg back. So in essence, we're doing pigeon on the left-hand side now. And we're just going to reverse on the left side. So with pigeon, really important to keep the hips square toward the front of the mat. Exhale, let's go ahead and bring the palms down to the mat. We're gonna curl our right toes under and then push that left leg off the mat, but bring the left foot right outside that left hand. Once we're here, we're gonna drop the right knee down to the mat. And again, here you can either stay here on your palms or you can bring your forearms down to the mat. Squeezing that left knee into the left shoulder or the left side of your body. And then to do the extension, you would bring the right forearms, you'll keep that on the mat, but lift the left hand all the way up, bending the right knee, right foot into the body, grabbing a hold of that right foot, and opening up. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. All right. So let's come out of this meeting with straight arms on our palms. And then we're gonna go ahead and send that left leg all the way back. And we'll meet in tabletop position. Curling the toes under, lifting the knees, let's push back to downward dog. And here, bending both knees, we're gonna look at our thumbs. And this time we're gonna jump forward to a seated position. So jumping forward, maybe crossing your ankles. So you come down to a seated position. Let's go ahead and extend the legs out in front of us. I wanna make sure we do a spinal twist before we wrap up. It's really good to neutralize the back after we've been doing little micro back bends all day, or not all day, but during class. Let's go ahead and just roll all the way down to the mat. Go ahead and bring your knees into the chest. Bring your arms out into a letter T. And then we're just gonna drop the knees to the right side of our body. Keeping the shoulders on the mat. Inhale back to center. And then drop the knees over to the left. Inhale back to center. Let's go ahead and grab behind our thighs, or maybe you can grab in front of your shins. It's up to you. And then we're just going to roll and rock until we create a little bit of momentum. And then we'll come back up to that seated position.
You can hear me, huh?
So once you're here, let's go ahead and close our eyes and just kind of revisit how we started the class. So see if we can notice if there's anything a little bit different. Maybe our breathing, maybe if we're doing a scan of our body, maybe something feels a little loose or a little more relaxed. Let's go ahead and bring our arms all the way up, palms to touch. And with our eyes closed, let's bring the palms to our third eye between our eyebrows. And I thank you so much for making time for yourself today. Despite everything that's going on in the world, the most important to pay attention right now is what's going on inside of you and how you feel. And as a reminder, just continue to be gentle with yourself, understanding, as we all get through this very uncertain time right now. Let's go ahead and bring our palm to heart center. And the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.